Good morning, good afternoon, and good day, folks. Allow me to welcome you to our very first episode of Night's Black Agents Solo Ops. Solo Ops is a Pelgrane press game written by Gareth Ryder Hanrahan and uses the Gumshoe one-to-one system designed by Robin D. Laws. Night's Black Agents itself was designed by Kenneth Haidt and tells the story of former covert operatives who become aware of and fight against vampiric conspiracies in the shadowed alleyways of Europe. This is going to be the first in what will hopefully be many sessions with the entire cast of Mayday rotating through playing the same main character. And speaking of which, joining me today is Sergio.
Hey, gang.
Yeah, there he is, who will be the first to take on the role of that main character, Layla Khan. We will meet her shortly, but in the meantime, please keep in mind that this actual play is, like all others, intended for mature audiences. It's going to contain elements of supernatural horror, violence, adult language, all of the above, and more. So, as always, viewer and listener discretion is advised. Obligatory Patreon plug. If you like what we're doing here at Mayday Roleplay, please consider supporting us on Patreon. For as little as $2, you get access to our Discord. Some early release stuff. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff in the works, right, Serge? I mean, what do we have planned?
A lot. We've got this. Every Tuesday when we're not doing this one, I'm streaming a little painting stream.
Yes.
We have our amazing Orpheus campaign, which is in about 3 or 4 sessions going to take a short break, but then we're still releasing Doom to Repeat. We have a Vampire the Masquerade game planned.
Yep.
A lot in the works.
It's gonna be good. It's
great.
Great.
2022 is going to be a good year for Mayday.
Absolutely. And we announced it at the end of the Ironsworn session, or the Starforge session, that our boy Caleb is going to be running us through Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, his campaign, Las Vegas by Night, in June, right? June is what we're looking at starting. That's going to be
Yep.
I'm so excited for that. And I will be joining as a player, so I'm even more excited.
More exciting,
I get to play with you all. That's going to be fucking phenomenal. As far as other announcements go, we did just release the next episode of the Delta Green Doom to Repeat campaign that came out Friday. Yeah, we're recording.
You're right.
Yeah, we're recording on Sunday, by the way, folks. So that's why my days are all jacked up. But I'll be in the chat, so say hi. Anyway, we just had that. We've got another Orpheus session coming up, not on the 5th, right? We're skipping the 5th and we're going to the 12th, I believe.
I think so. Unfortunately, I have some work that day. Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so we will be picking that up again on the 12th. But other than that, any big announcements, Serge? Anything you want to kind of?
No, I just want to point out that your intro is so much better than mine's ever were on Ironsworn or Starforge.
No, it's all good, man.
I should have written it down. That would have been a smart idea to list all the things you want to mention before the game starts.
I had a lot of practice with Orpheus, man. Trust me.
That's true. Yeah.
And it's a really good opportunity to try to get everybody on track for the start of the game. So, well, if that's it, man. Let's get this started.
Let's go. I can't wait.
Hell yeah. Okay, so without further ado, let's meet Layla Khan. So Layla Khan is the main character of Night's Black Agents Solo Ops. In this case, we do have a little bit of a backstory. So use this to kind of get into the character as you begin. Focus.
Yeah.
You're waking up from a nightmare. Things you're certain about. Your name is Layla Khan. Your father was British, your mother Lebanese. You grew up in England and got recruited by MI6. You used to be a spy. And then, the nightmare. It's not amnesia. It's not that simple. Something broke your mind. Something made you a different person, forced you to serve them, forced you to be their enforcer, their monster. You did horrible things in the shadows across Europe. You can't let yourself recall the details. Not yet. It's like someone set fire to your old house and you're walking around in the burnt out ruins. You know the layout of the place perfectly, but everything's changed on the inside. It's scorched or covered in thick soot or burnt away entirely. Some of it might be salvageable if you carefully rebuild it, but other parts are now treacherous. Step on the wrong floorboard, and it'll collapse under your weight and send you plunging into catatonia. Sometimes you'll find intact claims of memories. Sometimes you'll find intact chains of memories. You'll run into a familiar face and be able to pull up a memory that's entangled with other facts and flashbacks, but you don't have a complete picture of either your former life or the mysterious master you were forced to serve. Just the memory of eyes in the darkness and the taste of blood. You can't trust your memories. What did this to you? Are you compromised? Can you rebuild your identity? Or should you raise it all and start again? One thing you do remember. One thing you hold on to despite everything. You are going to get revenge. And that is where we will pick up. Your eyes open. You don't know where you are. Things begin to come into focus. And you realize you're in a small private hospital room. There's the smell of disinfectant. The sound of low, muffled voices in the corridor outside. You feel scratchy hospital sheets against your skin. You look down and you see that there's an intravenous drip in one arm and a dressing on a wound in your side. From what it feels like, it's a bullet wound. You would need someone with some kind of skill in forensic pathology to be certain, but you're otherwise uninjured. And with that, you get your first problem, which we'll discuss. So problems, I don't really roll any dice in this system. What I do
lucky you.
Lucky me, right? What I do in this case is I issue out things called problems and edges, as well as contacts. So what you can see here is I have a whole list of problems I can deal out at any given time. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to show you your first one. And if you'll read that to us.
Beaten up. It is an injury. You don't know what happened to you, but it hurts.
Exactly.
Okay.
There you go. So yeah, not feeling great. Not feeling great right now. But we will get to that. Now what you can do is if you want to get rid of that, you can do what we call take time. You can pretty much decide that you're going to stay in bed, rest a little bit more, recuperate, and you can essentially get rid of that injury, that problem.
Yeah, I think Layla would, probably, it sounds like I would have the strength enough if I really wanted to get out of here to attempt it.
Right.
But, whether these people are friendly or foe, nonetheless, it is a hospital. They're probably going to help me, and it's probably best. I might even learn a little bit if I stick around.
Okay.
So I think she's going to do that. She's just going to kind of lay back down in the bed and just, probably insist that she see a doctor as soon as possible if she sees a nurse pass, call out for one.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, so in that case, we can go ahead and discard that problem because you're taking time to recuperate. So in this case, I will remove that from your setup there. So.
Oh, this game's going to be easy if it's as simple as that.
We'll find out.
Just being a troll.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. So there's no one else in the room, but there is a call bell, and you can hear vague voices outside speaking Hungarian. A woman, maybe a nurse, says the hiker is still unconscious, and Dr. Vertig will examine her soon. You look outside the window, the shades are parted, and you see a mountain valley, and it looks like there's a small town not far from the hospital. Beyond it are thickly forested hills and mountains. Late afternoon, from what you can tell. The descending sun is sending these long shadows creeping across the hillsides like crawling fingers. Something about the sight tells you that you're in Hungary. So what I would like you to do is, real quick, make a cool test. So in this case, this is going to be our first challenge. What you do is you're going to roll 1d6. And if it's a success right off the bat, you can decide whether you want to roll again, and if you roll it both times, it is what's considered depleted until you take time again, and then you replenish your abilities. There are 3 different levels of success. There's an advance, which is a certain amount above, and in some cases, when you get into advance, you get something called an edge, which is another advantage for you to use in the game. If you are essentially make an advance with just your first roll without having to roll that second dice, you also would get what's called a push. Now, pushes, of which you have 3, you're starting with 3 of them. Pushes are essentially a way to get other benefits added to the success of your roll, or to get a better. It's almost like an automatic critical success in some cases by using that ability, but they're finite. they don't replenish very frequently or often, and they don't last for the entirety of the scenario.
And then this cool ability, is this cool as in my temperament, or cool as in I like charm somebody?
No, so cool is essentially your composure, your ability
Gotcha.
to collect yourself, keep yourself focused, and all of that. So yeah.
All right, let's see if I can stay cool. I'm rolling that d6. Oh,
Ooh, okay.
with a 6.
With a 6,
I'm cool
okay.
as ice, baby.
Cool as ice. I love it. So in this case, that would be a hold, which is kind of the middle ground success, or you can roll again to try to get an advance.
And if I roll poorly on that advance, does that have much of an effect?
Nope. So
More
you're
like just icing on the cake.
It's icing on the cake. So you've already
Okay.
surpassed a potential setback.
I kind of don't want to waste that extra die though, right? Wouldn't I be wasting it or no? Or spending it?
No. So since
Okay.
yeah, no.
Because it's a critical, I'm not spending it?
Right. Well, no. So you are. So in this case, you can't. Yeah, you can't decide to. Yeah. So you know what? Screw it.
Yeah, I kind of don't want to waste it in case I need to keep my cool some other situation. You know?
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So, with regard to the rules, I will pull them up really quick. With these kinds of roles, so you have a advance, which is, but the problem is you've got what's called a hold, and a hold is like the bare minimum you need
Right.
for a success,
Right.
So yeah, so you didn't reach the advanced threshold, so you don't also gain a push, but
Right.
you're at
So
least
that's
at
the risk I'm running, is I could not get that push because I'm not rolling the second die.
right. Well, so since you already rolled once and didn't hit that advance, you don't get an extra die anyway. So
Okay.
really what happens is if you roll again and you reach the advanced stage, you could gain an edge. But again, yeah. But that'll
Now's
be
not the
completed.
time.
Okay.
I think now's not the time. I'm laying low.
Got it. As you're laying there in the bed, you're beset by these strange, fragmented images of pain and darkness, but you manage to ride out the flashback. You're left chilled and shaken, but relatively unhurt. After a few minutes, a nurse enters the room. She is young-ish, probably in her early to mid-20s. There's a name tag that identifies her as Magdalena Halmy. And she walks over to you and does a very brief cursory examination and says, "I see you're awake. How are you feeling?" In fluent Hungarian, native Hungarian.
I'm going to assume that if I can understand it, I can probably speak it.
Oddly enough, yeah.
Yeah. So Magdalena is asking me how I'm doing. I think I'd probably be pretty short with her. I'm fine. Do we know how bad this wound is? Do we know my recovery time? Just trying to get to the short and sweet of it.
No. We're still. Dr. Vertag will be able to tell you that when he comes in and does another examination. Do you know what happened to you?
I heard them earlier referring to me as a hiker, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna be very obtuse, but I'll say something like, I was hiking in the woods and I fell, and that's all I can remember.
That's as far as we can tell. The local police found you unconscious by the side of the road last night. They brought you here.
Do you remember the name of the woods or the trail that I was on? I'm really having a hard time remembering.
Well, we're in Esztergom. We're about 50 kilometers outside Budapest. We know your name, Layla Khan. It was on your passport. Should be in your backpack.
Of course, yeah, of course I know my name.
This is a private hospital. We figured you were someone who got lost, confused, fell, injured yourself. Do you remember anything else?
I probably, as she asks that,
Yeah.
weird, scary images kind of flash through my head, but I just shake it off and no, I'd like to get out of here as soon as possible. If you could get the doctor to take a look at me.
And as those images begin to flash and you find yourself recovering, gaining some of these fragmented images, you do gain another problem. And in this case, you gain problem 3, the dark call.
So, the Dark Hall, vampire, something still has a hold on your free will, and you know that you won't be able to resist if it gets its claws into your soul again. If you haven't countered this problem by the end of the mission, you'll become his thrall again. Counter by finding a way to block your former master's influence and escaping his reach, or by killing the monster. Okay, interesting.
There you go.
So, all of this I kind of intuitively. It kind of comes to me, huh?
Right, exactly. Yep, it kind of intuitively comes to you in these flashes, and these fragments of memories begin to coalesce into something a little more firm, something a little bit easier to recall. So, yeah, you're sitting there. You now have this problem, and as you're sitting there talking with, is there anything else you kind of ask her, or do you just kind of let her do her checkup of you?
Is there a role I can do to like think of anything Sergio the player is not thinking about? I mean, I'm trying to think about. Okay, I'm a spy. I'm connected with government and military sources. I probably can't. Can I remember any contacts? Could I ask for a phone call or something?
Right. So in this case, and that's actually a good rule we can go over is the investigative abilities in Gumshoe. Right. These investigative abilities are abilities you have naturally through your training, through your experience, and through that, they're essentially you automatically succeed on these because you're trained in them. So, for instance, you have something called bullshit detector, right? Which is almost like an insight check in 5e
Nice.
terms, right? And your bullshit detector, as you're listening to her and watching her mannerisms and her body language, they confirm that she's not lying to you. She's telling you the truth as far as she knows it. Doesn't appear as if she's trying to hide anything. And as you look around the room, you do notice that there is a wardrobe against the wall, and next to it are a backpack and some hiking boots, and you assume maybe whatever clothes you're wearing are probably in that wardrobe because now you're in a hospital gown.
Yeah, my first thought, like confirming that I was in fact a hiker and stuff. I'm thinking, what the hell was I doing out there? I should probably look into that when I can actually walk around.
Right.
So I'll keep that in the back of my mind.
Okay.
I'm making a Google Drive like note that I'll save for all of the Mayday members, so we can like kind of have an ongoing journal, all of us.
There you go. Yep.
Okay, so can I? So as using my investigative ability, can I recall if there is a contact?
So you rack your brain. And network is actually the ability that you would use to figure that out, to essentially remember or find a contact. And that is one that would require a roll, but we'll get to that because at this point, Dr. Herman Vertog enters the room. Kind of a big, ambling, bear-like man with a bushy beard and sleepy eyes. He gives this appearance of gentleness, and he says, Miss Khan, you're awake.
I think that's a good way to describe it. I'm awake.
He shuffles towards you, and immediately your bullshit detector is going off like a siren. This guy, there's something off about him. Maybe it's the way he's walking towards you or the way he's holding his hand behind your back or behind his back. But now I need you to make a sense trouble test. So go ahead and roll a d6.
Like he's hiding something behind his back, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Roll a d6. 4.
A 4. Okay. That's a hold. So you can either roll again or, yeah.
I really feel like this guy's up to something. I think I need to push it.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and roll one more dice.
Okay. Oh, straight 4 again.
That's an 8. Okay. So you advance.
Okay.
So you reach up and grab Vertag's hand as he jabs this needle towards you, and you disarm him. How does it look? What does it look like?
Yeah, he's shuffling towards me. I'm just like, what is up with this guy? And as soon as his hand kind of starts to adjust from behind his back, my hand almost, imagine if I was like Jason Bourne or something, kind of surprised by my own reaction.
Right.
My hand just kind of flips up and grabs it just as he flashes down to stab me with this needle, and we're just kind of in this lock where I'm sort of realizing there's something up here.
Yeah. And so, yeah, you're able to rip that or either smack that syringe out of his hand or
Yeah.
twist his wrist so he releases it. So you have an option. You can either interrogate him and get some additional information, or you get a syringe full of propofol, some kind of sedative.
I think trying to wrestle him is probably the better idea, because then I can at least ask him. So I'd like to think that I kind of disarm him, and then like using the momentum of his arm, I try to wrap myself around his neck, and like suddenly I'm like crabbed behind his body.
Yes.
And maybe he like is forced to sit on the bed or something. But
Beautiful. Yeah. So in this case, you gain edge 3. Time for some answers. You're determined to find out what's going on. And if that means hurting people until they answer you, so be it. You can discard this edge for a free push of intimidation when you're questioning a defeated enemy.
okay, got it.
So in this case, you definitely have Dr. Vertag at a disadvantage. He's struggling against you. His breathing is choked with your arm wrapped around his neck. What do you do?
Now I can spend this card right now, or
You absolutely can.
boy, this would be handy in the future if I ever need it. Let me see how my luck is right now. Could I roll to intimidate without using this card?
So you can actually just try to intimidate him and try to question him as is and see how he responds.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd like to save this until I think I might need it.
Got it. Okay. What do you ask him?
I think the first thing I'll say is, who are you? What? Why are you keeping me here?
My name is Dr. Vertag. There's no call for violence. Release me, please.
Bullshit. That was, you say that as you were about to inject me with some fucking, I don't know what the hell that was.
It was to keep you calm. It was to keep you safe. It was to avoid this from happening. He's full of shit.
I'm gonna tighten my hold on him and say, who are you working for? Don't lie to me.
I couldn't say nothing.
You're gonna be saying nothing in a little bit when I break your jaw.
No, I will say nothing to you.
Okay. What could I say to him in this moment? I mean, at this point, if the doctor is untrustworthy, I can't stay here.
Right.
But I gotta get something out of him. I guess I should burn this edge.
Okay.
I think I might, I've got him in a chokehold. Maybe with my other free hand, I take one of his wrist, and I like try to threaten to break it. Really push it to its breaking point.
Yeah, he's groaning in pain, and as you continue to try to question him, we'll discard that edge. And in this case, he says, "Fine, please. I've worked with a criminal group before. This group, patching up their members.
What's their name?
I don't know who they are. My main contact is a man named Sinclair. And as soon as he says that name, the memories come flooding back. And you remember who this man is. You recognize this name, and you gain another edge. And we will kind of go over what that is. So in this case,
I can read that edge if you share it with me. There we go. Memories of Sinclair. Okay, a flash of memory. John Sinclair. XSAS. What is SAS?
Special Air Service, the British Special Operations Forces.
You were friends, both former British clandestine ops, both exiles, both thralls, okay? Sinclair smiling as he cut the throat of a prisoner, and another memory, Sinclair's address in Budapest. Discard this card for a push or an extra die when facing off against Sinclair. Okay, I will save this.
Definitely. So now you remember where he is. You remember he lives in Budapest, and you it all kind of comes in as you realize you're only 50 kilometers away from the city. And he, as those memories subside, you realize Vertag is still talking, and he says that when you ended up here, he called Sinclair, and he was ordered to keep you prisoner until Sinclair arrived. And Sinclair is coming here now. As he's talking, you hear this ringing coming from the backpack in the corner.
I think. Uh, I'm gonna take the syringe
Okay.
and I'm going to jab it into Vertog's neck,
Nice.
just enough to where I can actually inject it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say, walk with me over to the backpack. So Terminator 2 style,
Yep.
I'm going to lead him over now as my victim.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've got him hostage, and he cries out as you jam this needle into his neck. But he is compliant. You go over, and you find in the backpack a phone, a cell phone, and it looks like it's a very cheap burner phone. No numbers, no text messages. It is locked with a 6-digit passcode, but it's almost like muscle memory. You know how after a certain point you can enter your PIN without thinking it into your cell phone? Almost the exact same thing. You hit the numbers one after another, 734981, and you unlock the phone, and you see that there is a voicemail waiting for you.
Okay, I don't have time for that. I will get to it, but right now I need to get out of this hospital. The last thing I'd really like to try to get out of Vertog. Now, the nurse told me the city that I was in, right?
Right.
50 kilometers outside of Budapest. Could you remind me the name of that?
Yep, it's Esztergom.
How do you spell that?
Esztergom.
Esztergom. Okay. I say to him, if I put you in front of a map of Esztergom, can you point me where they found my body?
No, I don't know. The police just said it was on the side of the road.
Well, then have a nice sleep, and I'll inject him with the with the what did you call it? What was the name of the drug?
Propofol. It's like a sedative.
Yeah.
And he immediately loses consciousness. And for the first time, you look up and realize that Dr. Halmy is nowhere to be found, or Nurse Halmy is nowhere to be found. Obviously, she ran out of the room during the scuffle, alarmed by what was going on.
I can assume with my instinctive training as a spy, they're calling the authorities or something. So I need to get the hell out of here. I'll probably jump into whatever the clothes is that are by the backpack, take the backpack, and try to sneak out of the hospital.
So you open up the wardrobe and you find what you assume to be your clothes. They're mostly hiking gear, and with your notice ability, you see that the shirt has been recently re-sewn. Scratches and missing teeth are on the zipper of the jacket. Looks like something, maybe a big animal, attacked you. The clothing is all new, but not brand new. It's a little scuffed and stained, and it's all in your size, but the pockets are empty. In the backpack itself was, of course, the mobile phone. There's no passport inside.
No passport. Okay. Can't get out of Budapest just yet. So my thought process is I need to get out of this hospital, and then I'll check the cell phone, check the voicemail.
There is a ding as you receive a text message on the phone.
And what does it say if I look at it?
They're after you. Get to church ASAP. And just then, you hear the squeal of tires. And you look outside and you see 3 black sedans pull up outside the hospital.
Shit.
And 8 men come piling out.
Okay, I know that there are many entrances and exits to hospitals, so I'm going to try to find, the service entrance where the laundry is or whatever,
So using your skills, looking at your character sheet, what investigative ability do you think would be most appropriate here?
All right, well, let's see. There is, maybe streetwise. I am smart enough to know that there's many entrances and exits, and that there is service entrances, and I can try to dip out the back while they're coming in through the front.
Yeah, and I'll say actually, so that and urban survival would probably give you another really good route as well. So the hospital, from what you can tell, is you're about 4 stories up, and you're on the top floor. It's early evening. From what you can tell, there aren't very many other patients around or staff. Thinking about it and kind of...
Oh, I've got it already.
Okay, yeah.
Inspired by you in the Delta Green scenario, Looks Could Kill, I'm going to trip the fire alarm.
Hey, there we go. Okay, yep. You hit the fire alarm, and immediately alarms start blaring. You know you need to get down to the ground floor, escape out that lightly guarded service entrance, what will hopefully be lightly guarded, and steal a car. So in this case, we have got a series of linked challenges.
Okay.
So first, go ahead and roll evasion.
All right. And that's just a D6, right?
It's a D6, yep.
Okay. A 3.
A 3, okay.
Not that good.
That'll be a setback, unless you roll again.
I think I'm going to try. I really want to try to get out of here. So another D6. Here we go. Oh, man.
It's
even
a 4.
Worse, a 1.
That's a hold.
Okay.
So you manage to make it down to the exit without being spotted, but you can hear shouts in Hungarian as what you would assume to be these thugs are now combing the halls looking for you, heading up to that room that you just left. Now, as you continue maneuvering through the hospital, you make it down one floor, then the next, and you eventually get to that service entrance, and you see a goon in a tracksuit, kind of absent-mindedly guarding the door. It's clear they weren't expecting a fight. Maybe they expected you to be sedated or under control, and it was supposed to be a simple pickup. You don't know, but his guard is down. So in this case, you can roll fighting. You can attempt a stunt. You can attempt to add an extra dice by using your infiltration ability to try to take him by surprise. Athletics to jump on him.
Okay, you mentioned earlier I need to get into a car.
Right.
If I'm down on this kind of lower level, which I assume is more the employee level, can I find an office that maybe has keys, like car keys? You know, somebody's car keys?
Right. So you do notice that there is a nurse's station, and you're able to kind of maneuver your way through. And it does look like there are keys to an ambulance.
Okay, I'm gonna... Oh, shit, an ambulance is very, very obvious. I don't know if that's going to be good enough. I might take them anyway, just so that I have them.
Okay.
But I think the thing I'm not in any position to be, at least I don't, in my head, I'm thinking I'm not in any position to be fighting fisticuffs. I think if his guard is down, I want to sneak up to him and do the old, stick your foot on his knee, on the back of his knee, so he kind of buckles, and I might use his weight to kind of throw him back. Beautiful. And then I'm just going to book it past him,
Okay, yeah, so roll, you can roll your infiltration. You'll have 3 dice, so you can roll your 2 fighting dice and then an infiltration die.
Okay, so I can roll 3d6, or should I roll them one at a time?
One at a time.
Okay, here we go. First d6 is a 6.
Oh, okay, nice.
I think I'm going to roll one more just to make sure.
Okay.
As good as it can be. So 8,
Yep.
What is that? 8 total?
Yep, that's a hold. So
I think that's worth it.
In this case, yeah, you have this knockdown fight in the service entrance. He turns at just the last minute to see you sneaking up on him, and he immediately goes to throw an elbow, but you counter and block, and you reach out, you kick out the inside of his knee, and it buckles, and then you follow up with another elbow strike to his jaw, and he just collapses. He's unconscious at your feet, but you felt something tear in your side. Maybe one of those stitches. It's hurt. You're not bleeding profusely, but you limp towards the exit.
Can I check real quick his pockets and see if he's got either a weapon or identification? He
does. So he does have a wallet, and he has a CZ P10C pistol. It's a Czech pistol in a shoulder holster, and 2 spare magazines.
I'm taking those. I'm going to take the wallet. I'm not even going to bother to look at it right now. I just need to get the hell out of here.
Got it. Okay, so you've got his wallet and you've got a gun. So you head on out into the darkening evening, into this this employee parking lot, and now you need to work on finding a car. So, what do you do?
Okay, I still think the ambulance is a weird choice. Maybe if I don't throw the sirens on, it'll at least look like a routine kind of situation. So I'm going to try to sneak to a ambulance, jump in, not turn on the sirens or anything, but I'm just going to pull out.
Okay, all right. So in this case, roll a... Oof. Oh, this is a good one. Okay, let's roll... driving. Make a driving roll.
Okay. Here we go.
Actually, no. Roll cool. Roll 1 cool dice since you already rolled one. Let's see how you do.
All right, 2.
Okay. All right. Oof. Yeah. You gun it just a little bit hard, eager to get out of there, and as you drive past the front of the hospital, you see these 3 cars idling out front, and 2 pull off and begin to pursue you, and you are now in a car. You are now in a car chase.
Exciting.
Yeah, as you drive away from the hospital into the night outside Erzdogom.
Okay. Okay, here's what I'm doing.
Okay.
I have a ambulance. I'm gonna flip the sirens on, and I'm going to use, the public knowledge of ambulances to like try to fly through like red lights and stuff. Try to fly through intersections that they will possibly get hit if they pursue me. I'm going to try to lose them that way.
Got it. Okay. So go ahead and make a driving roll. Now you do have an opportunity to stunt on this to add an additional die.
I'm stunting.
Okay. Yeah, you can use shooting to take out the tires, or use mechanics to really just push the engine past its breaking point.
Yeah, I think I'm more just pushing the engine and pushing my own safety, by flying through these intersections and stuff.
Okay. All right.
Again, I roll 1 at a time.
Yep, 1 at a time.
Okay. Oh God.
Oh, a 1.
I need it with a 1.
Yep.
And then I'll do it again. A 3, so it's a 4.
It's a 4, and you've got 1 extra die since you're using mechanics.
I got to get away from these bastards. Total of what is that? 5?
Yep, that's a 5. Okay, so yeah, you hold, which is good.
Okay.
So you begin driving on some of these twisting back roads outside the town, and it's not like a big urban built-up area. There's very few stoplights, and some of these roads are one way. But you take off, and even though they're in these Audis, with these souped-up engines, and you're just in this ambulance, your skill is obviously far superior to theirs, and you're able to eventually lose them on these back roads, and you're clear for now.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So there are some additional problems in this case that I failed to give you earlier. So in this one, you do realize you are ill-equipped. You don't have any equipment or personal possessions. You do have a gun now, some money, no cards, no passport. So while you have this problem, you can't make preparedness or shooting tests. Well, we can now make the shooting test because you have a gun.
Sure.
You can counter by finding a cache of equipment, a safe house, or a friend who can shelter you until you restock. So we'll hang on to that for now. So what do you do now? What's the plan?
I need to get out of, like, my entire purpose of being in this thing was just to get away from them. Now that I'm away from them, I'm gonna find some like lot to park this ambulance in.
Okay.
Probably jump into the back and steal any usable medical equipment. If there's painkillers, if there is bandaging to kind of help myself with my side wound. Yeah. I'll take some of that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, we'll say you're able to snatch up a few different supplies, some bandages, some gauze, a staple gun to try to staple, your wound closed if you need to, some painkiller, some morphine, which is very good. So you're set there. You still have the phone, and I will say at this point, you have a couple of different options. But do you do anything with the phone?
All right, so I am going to hide in plain sight.
Okay.
And I'm going to find like a cafe or a bakery or something like that and sit down in it.
Okay.
And then I will start going through the phone.
Got it.
Order coffee, start going through the phone.
Okay. The phone is, there's not much on it apart from this voicemail that was previously left before you received the text message. And all you hear is thumps, grunts, and heavy breathing. It sounds like 2 people are fighting for the handset. Then there's a gunshot and the line goes dead. And shortly after that is when you received the text saying they're after you, get to the church ASAP. And then you do find an address. It's the address for a church in Budapest. And I will give you an edge for that. So
there's a church in Budapest whose address I have.
Yep.
There was mention of Sinclair's address in Budapest as well, correct?
That's right. Yep.
Okay,
so you've got both.
Yeah. I'm just making note here. Sinclair's address as well. Okay. Unfortunately, not a lot of this is really adding up the way I need it to. This edge says the church. Your phone is the address to Budapest. Okay, you're sure there are answers there. All right. So I think that I'm going to take a little character moment here.
Yeah.
Layla has effectively, she's still putting together what the hell has happened to her, but she gets the sense that she's been under some kind of control. She's I know that the word vampire is bouncing around in her head, but like the logical part of her is like,
No.
maybe vampire stands for some kind of mind control that this enemy had on me, trying to rationalize it.
Right.
And also, realizing that, um, knowing that she has some self-control again, she wants to test that self-control. And I'd like to think that maybe while she was under the thrall, this person in charge of her would not allow her to eat poorly. Maybe they did not allow her to eat any sugar or treats or anything, just like gruel or whatever the hell, she had to eat. Maybe even worse than that, rats or something. But the point is that I think she takes a moment to order some sweets or some treats from the bakery, and like literally is like, I want one of everything on the menu.
Nice.
And
Okay.
sits there and starts to eat them and like genuinely enjoys it, and fights back the tears of like, oh my god, okay, I have some sense of control. But she's too scared to stop eating, and she keeps eating and eating, and eventually she eats so much that she like literally throws up out on the outdoor seating area of this bakery. And like, when she looks up wiping her mouth, there's all these people around kind of staring at her, and she just apologizes, puts some whatever cash is in the wallet down, and just leaves.
Got it.
And goes to find some other place.
Okay. I like it. I love it.
I think she needs to find a place to rest her head for the evening.
Okay.
It's probably pretty late now, right?
So it's probably early evening. It was just getting to twilight when you escaped from the hospital. So it's definitely the moon has risen and the sun has set, but it's still pretty early in the evening. As you drive, though, I need you to go ahead and make a sense trouble test.
I don't think I'm really driving so much. I mean, I could take a cab, but I'm probably walking. I think I'm leaving that
Okay.
that thing behind, the ambulance.
Got it. So you're not taking the ambulance. You're
Yeah,
still
I'm just concerned that they're going to follow me with it. It's pretty obvious.
Okay. You are still about 50 kilometers outside of Budapest, so you've got a ways
I get
to go.
that.
Okay.
I get that.
All right.
I am an attractive woman. I could always attempt to hitchhike if I really need to, or
That's true. Yep.
something else. But the point is you're asking me for what now? What kind of role?
So if you're in a cab, where are you having them take you?
My instinct says I do want to lay low for the evening,
Okay.
and maybe in the early morning get up and start getting some tasks accomplished. So I do want to find like a hostel,
Okay.
someplace cheap I can stay.
So I'll tell you what. If you're willing to take an extra problem, you may be able to find something that would benefit you greatly in the long term.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Okay, so in this case, you're going to gain the problem shaken, and I will show you that card very shortly. So in this case, your head feels shattered. Fragments of memories, glimpses of previous missions, snatches of voices, the taste of blood run through your brain. You're close to breaking. You are at a -1 penalty to cool tests until you hold this while you hold this card. You can counter either by confiding in someone or finding some other way to take the edge off. But with that, there's a sudden flash, and you remember as you start thinking about how you have no supplies, you have no passport, you have no money. What the fuck are you going to do? You suddenly remember the cash that you prepared, that you dropped in a old farm outbuilding near here.
Okay.
And you remember exactly where it is.
Gotcha.
And it's in the country. It's in the countryside near Budapest. But yeah, you remember how to get there.
Do I? Man.
And you for reasons you can't even begin to articulate, you know it's safe.
Right. Okay. All right. Safe, free are always good options. I think that's where I will tell the cabbie to go. Take me to this coordinate.
Got it. Okay. The cab begins making its way through the night. And at this point, I need you to make a sense trouble roll.
Oh man, this cabbie better not be a vampire. That's a 5.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So, do you want to roll again? Try to get that advance?
I think I'm probably a little bit distracted by the shaken memories, and you know, I'm like my senses are up, but I'm also a little distracted. So I think I'm not going to push.
Okay. You spot a shape circling overhead. A tremendous bat.
Oh man, so like my head's against the glass,
Yeah.
and I like look up and I see this impossible shape. Oof, and it seems to be following me.
Yep. And you know you need to get out of there now.
Okay, I don't want it to lead. I don't want to lead it to the barn.
Right.
Unless I can convince this guy to step on it. I mean, I guess I do, you know, lean forward, grab his shoulder, and tell him to step on it. But
Okay.
Oh God, how do you lose this thing? I'm gonna try to, fuck. I don't. I'm gonna tell him to, you know what? On second thought, we're not going there. Let's go downtown. Take me downtown.
Okay. All right. Yeah. He begins driving, but suddenly there is a cacophony of screeching metal and broken glass as
shit.
something reaches through the window, smashing through it, and pulls this cabbie driver out through the window.
Holy shit.
Yeah. You've got a very short period of time to get behind the wheel and try to take control of the vehicle.
I'm doing that. I'm doing that.
Okay. So make a driving roll.
Okay. Here we go. Roll the d6. 3. I'd
Okay.
like to push that if I can.
You can. Yep.
Okay, one more. That's a 5.
All right. The bat thing rakes the side of your car, and you hear those talons raking through, and you look down and you can actually see them cutting through the metal on the side of the door. You manage to keep the car on the road, but this thing is just tearing rents in the door and smashing the windows, trying to get at you, almost like just panicked, just frenzied animal.
Okay, all right, hold on. Fuck. All right. This is a. You're saying it's like grabbing the doors and tearing them off the hinges and stuff?
Yep.
Shit. What I'd love to do is somehow time it to where the moment it grabs onto the car, I want to turn in the direct, like on the side that it's on, and try and like smash into a building. Like I'm gonna put my seatbelt on and crash into a building on the side that this thing is on.
Okay. Yeah. Just as you turn and you begin to, you're still kind of in a very rural area. You're not in a city. You're surrounded on all sides by forest.
Then a tree, or like some big object.
You turn and you cinch down your seatbelt and you gun it, and the vehicle just pounds and collides with this tree, and this bat thing shrieks and goes flying off into the night. And you are banged up and shaken, but it seems to be gone for now.
Fuck. Well, I just destroyed the car,
Yeah.
hoping to cause this thing some damage, but it was faster than me.
So we've got a couple problems here to look into. So
to say the least.
So in this case, we have sleepwalking. So,
Blowback shadow. Okay, something's calling you out into the darkness. You can resist with an effort of will, but the next time you rest, something bad may happen. Discard this card and remind the GM when you next sleep. If you end up with multiple versions of this card, the consequences get worse. Counter by having someone watch you when you sleep or suppressing your shadow score to 0. Okay.
Yep, so
and what
far,
is my shadow score at the moment?
Your shadow right now is 1.
Okay.
Yep. So thankfully you haven't accrued too much, but in this case you have been essentially pursued into the woods. So with that, there you go. You had to hide in the woods to dodge the monster pursuing you. You're wet, cold, and exhausted. You've got a -1 to physical tests until you take time to rest and recuperate. When you do, you can discard this card.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I stumble out of the smoking vehicle, and I'm just gonna look for any place to rest my head. If there is a home with lights on, if there is a barn, if there's anything that I can just hide in.
Okay. Are you going to try to get to the cache?
I mean, if I know that I'm within walking distance, but I do worry that at some point I'm just going to pass out. Like, a part of me instinctually is just like, just get under a roof for 8 hours, and then you can continue.
You know your abilities, and you've got the stamina to make it. It's going to take you some time, but you can get there.
Okay.
But eventually, you do arrive at this farm, and you see that it's a very old, very rundown farm. It's surrounded by these crumbling outbuildings and empty fields. You can hear the cluck of chickens and the snorting of pigs, and there is a pair of aging but still apparently fierce wolfhounds that patrol the grounds of the farm.
I know this from memory.
Yep.
Okay.
And they approach you as you walk up. And do you try to be covert with your approach, or do you approach openly?
I mean, if I've been here before, I probably know there's something I can do to let these guys know I'm not dangerous or not a threat, right. Whether it be a whistle or a call, or maybe I just prostrate myself in a way to the dogs to make myself not be very threatening to them. But I think I'll approach peacefully.
Yeah, you hold out a hand, and they approach very guardedly at first, and then they sniff it and then lick your palm. And
yeah, I like to think there's a little blood on my palm that they're licking too.
Yeah. You then hear a voice, very old, very weathered. Who's there? In Hungarian. And you look up and you see someone you know as Grigor. You remember the name. A 70-something-year-old man. And he looks at you. A flashlight in one hand and a shotgun in the other. It's you.
I think I'm just kind of out of it enough that I just push out the words, Gregor, I need help. And I'm just like, my hand reaching out to him, shaking.
Come in, please. And you notice that he reaches underneath his shirt and he pulls out a crucifix on a silver chain, and seems to, with your bullshit detector, seems to let you know that he's nervous around you, and he's sending a message.
To me or to someone else?
To you.
To me, yeah.
He is definitely very intimidated by you.
I think, I might even kind of put my arm on his shoulders as we go into his home, I assume, right? Or no, Are we going to the barn? Okay, we go in there and, I sit down, and I think I probably say something to him like, I'm not a thrall anymore. You don't have to be afraid of me.
What happened to you?
I'm still piecing that together. I mean, I can't believe I even recognize you, but I'm figuring it out. I need some time, I need some rest, and I need the cash.
You can stay here for now until the morning.
Gregor, have I ever come here with other people? Have I ever been here with someone other than myself?
Yes, you were here just 2 weeks ago. You came in the middle of the night.
And who was with me 2 weeks ago?
A man you called Exis.
EXUS?
ECZES. And immediately that name triggers another surge of memories, another flashback. And
you're triggering me, Gregor.
Yeah, right. And there you go. You recall this potential ally in Budapest, a gambler and a crook named X's. He was your contact, not a servant of the vampires, as far as you know. It could potentially be good to see a friendly face. You can discard this for a +2 bonus on a network roll to contact X's, or for a free interpersonal push when dealing with him.
Okay. Now, when we say a contact, was he a civilian?
Yes, in the criminal underworld. Yeah.
Okay, so civilian of some kind involved in the criminal underworld. Gotcha.
Yep. And as Grigor tells you what happened, you came to the farm in the middle of the night. You were in a hurry, and you told him not to tell anyone that she had been there. Your breath had smelled like roses, and you looked unwell. Exis was with you at the time. His dogs did not like him at all, so he stayed in the car. But as you look around, like, your head begins to swim and just aches with all of this sudden sensory overload, and you spot this photograph above the fireplace of a young man. And again, it just triggers another onslaught of flashbacks, and you remember. You have this flash of recollection. You were in a hotel room. There was a man there, pale, red eyes, screaming in fury at this man that you know as Pyotr. He picked Pyotr up with one hand and smashed him against the doorframe over and over. You tried to intervene, but the vampire, just glared at you, and it was as though you turned to stone. You remember the monster's name now. Yovitso.
I probably say that name like in a hushed tone as I'm looking at the painting, Yovitso. That helps for sure. I feel that this is the vampire that had me under a thrall.
Yes.
And if you could describe what he looks like, does he look vampiric or does he look human?
Very vampiric, very pale skin, almost sunken cheeks, these red eyes, these sharp feral teeth, and just a strength that no human could possess, as he essentially pulverized this Pyotr by just slamming him into the wall over and over again before your very eyes.
Uh-huh. And, with this memory flooding back to me, can I remember whether the vampire almost always looks this way or is able to kind of travel between humans and nobody would notice them?
No, but you remember the bat thing chasing you was something he could do.
Jesus Christ. So I surmise that could have been Yovitz?
Yovitso, yes.
Yovitso? Fuck. He's already on my ass. All right. Well, I've got rid of him for now.
Yes.
I have that. I understand a little bit more about him. I have his name, though. Who knows if it's even a name that's registered anywhere? It could just be his ancient name.
Yeah.
I think I want to get that cash and just have that under my arm before I pass out tonight.
Okay. So yeah, you go out into a nearby barn, and you dig in this. You instinctually know exactly where to dig. You don't have to dig very far. It's in a shallow hole in a bundle wrapped in this waterproof plastic sheet. You pull out a H&K Heckler & Koch 9mm pistol with a few spare magazines of ammunition. A sheaf of passports in different names, but all with your picture, with Layla Khan's picture. Cash in various currencies and denominations, including local. Medical supplies, including painkillers. Some other non-specific gear that we can use in the future if you have to make a preparedness check. So essentially preparedness, if you ever get called to make one, you can say, with a certain result, hey, I remember picking this up from the cache and I have it on me and available. There's also this rugged thermos flask and a photograph, a very old photograph. Do you look at those further at the thermos?
I look at the photograph first. Do I recognize anybody?
So it is very, very old, dating back probably to the 1920s. It's damaged and faded, but you can still make out this image of a crucifix of some sort. It looks like it's made of metal, potentially silver. Finely made, definitely some kind of antique. It looks like that there's a glass vial built into the crucifix itself, and it looks like there might be something in the glass, but the photo isn't detailed enough for you to see what it is. It rests on a cushion, and the photo it looks staged, like it's almost like a museum exhibit.
Almost like it's an altar or something.
Right.
So it's an old photograph of a crucifix.
Right.
And there's a glass vial in the middle of the crucifix. And can I tell from the photo that it's in a church or in some kind of building?
No. Yeah, not any further.
Weird.
And you with your abilities, you're definitely not an archaeologist. You're definitely not somebody well-versed in history, but you know that if you could find the right contact, there might be somebody in Budapest who could help you figure out what this is.
I'm going to definitely take that photograph, and I'm going to... You said there was a thermos or a canteen?
It's like this rugged thermos canteen style. Yeah. And
I'm going to open it up, and I want to pour just a little bit of whatever its contents are, like, I guess just on the ground, just like a drop of it, just to see what it is.
It's a clear liquid that smells strongly of rose water.
Okay, my first thought is that it's probably holy water or some kind of sanctified water.
Right. It's more than half empty at this point. And as you look at the thermos, there's this tracking barcode sticker on the side, kind of like those that are used in like medical laboratories. It's partially torn, but you can see a string of digits and letters. HUL.
That is the barcode on the side.
Yep.
Okay. HUL. I'll take the canteen as well. Kind of with the... Sergio, and I assume Layla also has the impression that this is probably holy water or something, and maybe it could do me some good. So I'll take it for that reason as well.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I was supposed to give you a problem 2, running on empty, since you don't have any abilities, or so you didn't have any supplies. Actually, I did give that to you, but now we can remove that since you now have access to your cash. So that is one problem gone. Okay,
I think I want to take care of another problem. Shit, there's so many of them. I'm trying to... Okay, so this pursuit into the woods, right? So I have a -1 to my physical tests.
Yep.
Until I take time to rest and recuperate. However, there's another one that says about someone needs to watch after me. I'm shaken, right?
Yes, correct.
So I think the way I want to take care of those problems is I'm going to take everything I find, the cache, back into the house. I'm going to ask Gregor to show me to a bed or somewhere. Can I sleep on the couch or something?
Okay.
And as he's setting me up, I'm just going to say, Gregor, I have one more favor to ask of you. Can you stay with me tonight? Can you sit and just watch me and make sure, if something happens, let me know. I just want him to keep an eye on me overnight.
Yeah, so in this case... Let's make I would say you would have to use one of your pushes.
Okay.
So maybe like a charm or a reassurance push.
Gotcha. Let's see. Charm or reassurance.
And you don't have to roll. If you decide you want to use your push, you'll automatically succeed.
One push to solve 2 problems I think are worth it.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to do that.
All right. He agrees to stay with you for the night and to keep an eye on you. And he sets up a chair in the corner and kind of just sits there. The wolfhounds at his, one at his feet, one at the foot of the bed, a shotgun cradled in his lap, and gives you the go-ahead to try to get some sleep. So I will say... I
will try to do that.
Yeah, you get rid of problem 12, shaken, and problem 13, pursued into the woods.
Hell yeah.
The other piece as well, the sleepwalking. Yeah, so you do counter that by having someone watch you, in this case, Grigor, who you convinced with a successful interpersonal push. And so we don't have to worry about that. He does... As you sleep, you fall into this dark, dreamless sleep. And after a certain point, you wake up. And you realize you're standing. And the front door of the farmhouse is open. And Grigor has an arm on your shoulder.
Mm, like I was about to walk out into the
Right.
day or the night. Interesting. Yeah, I probably would, defensively maybe put an arm up and then realize it's just Gregor and let him lead me back into the house. And at this point, does it seem like it's morning or?
It's still the middle of the night. It's still dark out, so you can probably go get a few more hours of sleep.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, so you go, you rest, you recuperate, and in the morning, Grigor has a very simple breakfast waiting for you, some coffee. And it is probably apart from the sweets that you gorge yourself on the evening before, probably the best thing you remember eating at any given time. And you realize how hungry you were. So what's the plan? What do you do next?
Okay, well.
You got a few leads. You got a few potential leads.
Yeah. I have a few leads. I feel like I have a lead they may have just made up, which is I'm very curious as to what the hell I was doing out in the woods. I feel like if I was under a thrall, I might have been attempting to do something for this vampire. It doesn't make sense to me that I would be running from them, but maybe I was. But I know that going into town is a big deal. Going to Budapest and looking into Sinclair, going to this church. But I mean, can I really trust these people who are texting me that, go to the church as soon as possible? I guess I have no choice, really.
Yeah. You also have Sam. You also have Sam Exes, your criminal contact, if you want to try to make contact with him.
Sam, yeah, Exes, yeah. Why? Yeah, I think contacting him would be smart, but I think without context, going into the woods where I was found won't help. Like I won't know what I'm looking for. So right. I think I'm going to put that to the side. And I think the most logical thing is, I know Sam is in Budapest, right?
He is, yep.
Okay. All roads seem to be leading to Budapest at the moment.
All roads lead to Budapest.
I think I'll start small, and I think I might contact Sam first.
Okay.
Maybe with my cell phone. I don't seem to have his number on my cell phone, do
I? You can go ahead and make a network test to see if you can recall.
Yes, let's see if I can, just how I remembered my password, see if I can remember Sam's number by typing it in.
Nice.
I'll roll that. So, roll 1d6. Ooh, 6.
Nice, okay.
I think I'll stick with that.
All right. That is a hold. You do recall his phone number, and you're able to track him down. You know exactly. Yeah.
I think to be safe, I will text him.
Okay.
And I'll say, meet me at the cafe outside this church that I know I'm supposed to go to.
Okay. Yeah. So the church itself is actually a historical site. It is the Gayer Hill Cave. It's an underground chapel and a cave network on the banks of the Danube River. It was used as a field hospital in World War II, sealed up during the Soviet occupation. And in the modern era, it is back under the control of the Pauline monks who established it. And there's quite a few cafes not too far, maybe a few blocks away from where this is.
Tourist spots, that kind of stuff.
Right.
What is the name of the church again?
The Gayer Hill Cave. It's Gellert.
Gayer Hill Cave. Interesting. So there's a church built on top of what is essentially a cave?
A cave network, yep.
Interesting. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, so I'll wait for him, at whatever the place we agree to.
Okay. Yeah, you drive into Budapest and you find that, again,
I think, you know what, I'll also buy a pack of cigarettes, because I don't think I was allowed to smoke too, so I'm just like enjoying all the vices and like coughing, not actually enjoying it, but enjoying it just because I have the choice to.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You find instinctively, Budapest intimately. All the streets, all the back roads, all the side streets. You know exactly where you're going and how to get there. You recall that you've spent months here, and you know how to survive here, how to move without being seen.
What's funny is that Sergio actually has spent a little bit of time in Budapest, so
I
am somewhat familiar with it. Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, I like that. So you go to the cafe, and of course you make sure that you're the first one there. And a man in his mid-40s approaches, dressed in a suit, not as sharp as they used to be. His face is fatter and redder than it once was, but still very much a very shark-like appearance, right? You remember... Oh, go ahead.
I just think seeing him, I don't want to linger for too long in one place with him. I want to kind of stay moving. With the shark analogy too.
Yeah.
I think I'll get up out of my seat before he sees me, like kind of walk up behind him and say, "The years have been good to you, Sam. Fattened up a little bit."
Oh, it hasn't been that long, Layla.
Yeah, sorry. That's 2 weeks, right? That's how long it's been.
Yeah. You've been acting odd. Are you all right? You look like you've been beaten all to hell.
Don't worry about that. I have some work, and I'm like walking him now, kind of down the street,
Okay.
somewhat in the direction of the church, but like it's okay if I go past the church. I'm just trying to stay moving with him.
Okay.
I don't think I'm gonna let Sam in on exactly what's happening to me. Do I get the impression that Sam knows what I was? That I was a thrall? That there are vampires? All that kind of crazy shit?
He,
Or is this just like a contact that I would get info from about the underworld?
He was a contact that you had both when you were working for the British government and when you were working with this other group. And he's known you in both lives.
He's known me in both lives. I still think as a just a spy, I would have kept as much information from him as possible. So
Right.
I don't think he is aware necessarily of vampires and all this kind of crazy shit. So I think I'm going to talk to him like I'm just on another mission.
Okay.
That is not some kind of personal vendetta. And I think I'm going to tell him, Sam, last time you saw me, I was compromised and they drugged me, and I don't remember everything. I'm trying to piece things together. Can you tell me what it is we were doing 2 weeks ago? Do you remember the last thing that we were up to?
You asked me to drive you out to that filthy little shithole farm in the middle of nowhere. You had me drive. We took my car. You were trying not to be followed, but I don't know what I'm doing in that respect. But it was very, very odd. Is everything all right?
To be honest, no, not everything's all right, but I'm making it all right.
You've been acting odd. Is this in relation to everything that's been going on here?
I told you I was compromised. There's something going on. Yes, I'm trying to figure it out, and the more that you can help, the safer you and I will both be.
He pulls out a pack of cigarettes and lights one and offers you the pack.
Yeah, I'll take one.
Well, a few weeks ago, there were all these rumors that started flying around. Some sort of power shift. Individuals rising in stature, others were about to be thrown down. Everyone was on edge. In fact, as far as I remember, there was this definitely a little bit of strife between you and one of your associates, Mr. Sinclair?
Yeah.
The very one. The shiny head, the unpleasant attitude, yes. Around the same time, in my professional capacity, I saw huge transfers of money being moved through anonymous, discreet channels. I did as you asked. I prepared the paperwork. Do you want to see it?
Yes, show it to me. Do I get the impression he's implying that his side, the gangs, the criminal underworld, were moving their money?
Yes.
Okay.
And with this clues, the Ex's papers, you've gotten hold of some financial records that might contain clues about the structure of the conspiracy. Unfortunately, it's just, the sheer volume of material, it's too much to go through right now.
It's like what, like a big folder of stuff?
A big file with all financial records. Yep.
I owe you for this one. Thank you, Exis, and I'll kind of tuck it under my arm. So hold on. So Sergio's just trying to put this together here in my head. So there's rumors of a power shift. I had issues with Sinclair. The criminal underworld moved a lot of cash. Why would they move cash unless they're trying to either hide it from someone or use it for something? Interesting. Okay. What else could I get out of Sam? Sam, what about? We mentioned Sinclair. Sam, what about standby? What is this? The guy that attacked me. I'm sorry. The vampire's name.
Jovitzo.
Jovitzo. Does the name Jovitzo ring a bell? If I tell him that.
I've never heard of that. Is that another Turkish arms dealer you're dealing with, or?
I think it was the party that had me captive, the party that was controlling me.
Okay.
Keep an ear on the street if you hear that name, and let me know.
Of course, absolutely.
Okay. He's given me a bunch of information that I have to go through. What about I'll show him the photo of the crucifix in the canteen. Does any of that ring a bell to him?
No, unfortunately not. I have to say antiques were never my specialty.
Okay.
You may be able to find someone in the city. I mean, you can't.
Do you know any experts in stuff that you could maybe recommend?
There's a man named Dr. Gilbin. I don't know how to get a hold of him, but he's antiques.
That's enough. I just need a name. Dr. Gilbin Antiques. Okay. All right. And I want it, and I know that this church. Okay, I don't think I want. I want to keep Sam just a contact. I don't want to bring him further into this than he has to be. So I think I'm going to maybe part ways with Sam.
Okay.
Unless there's something in my investigative skills that I'm forgetting to ask of him.
Nope. Yeah. In this case, we will add him to your contact list.
Okay.
And he is now available as a contact.
The Fixer. Okay, good to know. Okay, he's good at accounting, forgery, and streetwise. Okay. Gotcha. Sounds good. All right, so yeah, I'll part ways with him, give him a hug, and just tell him to stay safe.
You as well, my dear. Take better care of yourself.
Yeah. Kind of dismissively, just acknowledge it, and I think I'll make my way back to the church and probably go into the church.
Okay. So you go to the church, and there's this huge iron gate at the front, and you can see it is daytime, so you can see a few tourists kind of milling about, but a old gray-bearded monk approaches you, and he says, "This way, your friends are waiting."
I will follow him.
And as you enter these grounds, you feel this momentary sense of relief, and you gain a new edge. So in this case, you gain Holy ground.
Vampires dread sacred places. Suppress your shadow score by 1 while in such places. Okay, that's handy.
Yep. So
good to know.
He begins kind of leading you through, and shows you through a small side door in the chapel, closing it behind him. And he says, "Upstairs, Mr. Hulier is waiting for you. You know him, yes?"
Yes, of course. You said, what was his name again?
Hulier. H-U-L.
Hulier. Yeah, H-U-L, like on the canteen. All right.
And immediately you have this flash of someone pressing that thermos flask into your hands.
Okay.
He leads you through several more tunnels carved into the hillside, lit by these old electrical lights screwed into the ceiling, and then shows you into this small room, oddly homely in this underground catacomb. There's a battered old couch, a few rickety chairs, a once elegant table, and several paintings and icons depicting Christian saints. Waiting there is a middle-aged man, thin and nervous with thick glasses. He stands up and says, "Miss Khan, it is good to see you."
And do I recognize him?
You don't.
Then I will, kind of remain apprehensive, but be cordial and approach. I won't shake his hand, but I will kind of nod in his direction and say, thank you for meeting me.
You no doubt have many questions. The after effects of absolution must be very, very confusing for you.
So you know that I lost my memory.
Of course, it was expected.
Why did it happen? Why now? Why did I lose my memory?
It was an effect,
or my connection.
It was an effect of the rosewater potion. Do you know who I am?
Feeling just, I guess, more desperate to have answers than anything. I think she probably opens up to him, and I have no idea who you are.
This is worse than I expected. My name is Jean Houllier. I'm a biochemist. How much do you remember?
Fragments. I remember the most basic of my old life, and barely just nightmare flashes of whatever happened to me.
There are dark forces, the Linea Dracul, who have reigned from the shadows throughout the centuries. I am part of a small group of people who oppose these monsters. You fell under the sway of one of them, a vampire named Jovitso. Vampires can mesmerize their victims, force them to obey, and if they make you drink their blood, you become one of their creatures bound to them. That's what happened to you. Jovitso coveted your talents as a spy, and he turned you into a servant. My friends and I, we discovered a way to undo this unholy baptism, to free a victim of the vampires from their control. We chose you because we thought you would be the most likely to survive the process and to fight back once we freed you.
And you use this, and I show him the canteen with his name on it?
Yes. My role was recreating this medieval alchemical formula that we thought could break the spell. Father Loretti dug the formula up in the archive. I don't know how they found you. At this point, your bullshit detector is starting to ping a little bit.
Yeah, so you just said who found me? Which doctor found me?
He doesn't know who found you.
But I mean to say doctor, he said Dr. Moretti?
Father Loretti dug up the formula for this potion, for this rosewater potion.
Father Loretti dug up the potion. Okay, yep. Dug up the formula. But is Houllier saying he thinks that Loretti somehow found me?
So he's not sure who else on his team found you.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, and I'm sorry, you were just asking me a question.
Yeah, bullshit detector is starting to ping just a little bit. So if you want to push, you may find something else out.
I think I may push. I probably take the canteen, and I've been rather meek up until now, and then I take the canteen and just slam it on the table and just like, don't lie to me.
You definitely think he's being especially evasive at this point. There's something else he's not mentioning here, something he's trying to hide. Not necessarily from you, but maybe from someone else. Make an... actually, with your electronic surveillance, which you, again, is one of your core abilities, you suspect he might be wearing a wire.
Shit. Well, I will keep that in mind. I don't know if I'm ready to just tear his shirt open, because I might have an advantage to knowing, though he doesn't know, that I know.
So at this point, yeah, you can try to keep him calm. And with somebody listening in, you don't want to potentially let in on the fact that you're now aware of it. So make a cool test.
Okay.
And you should be back up to 2 die rolls since you haven't made one since you slept.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so sleep brings it back. So there's a 4, and I think I need to push it if this is not a success.
Okay, a 4 is a hold.
Okay,
Um,
I'll take the hole then.
okay. You keep him talking, but you can tell he's starting to lose it. And if you
Lose it
can,
how? Like
he's starting to get nervous. He's starting to sweat and become visibly more agitated. And if you can tell, whoever's listening can as well.
I will attempt to calm him down. I'll probably back off. I'll probably, thank him. I might even show a little bit of emotion and just kind of reveal how much of a existential kind of pain this is, to be going through all of this, and to thank him again for at least meeting with me and clarifying things. So try to make him feel like a good guy.
Absolutely. And that's where that successful cool roll kind of comes into play. You manage to keep him calm ish. There's still a lot of nerves there, but he continues to talk. He mentions that his allies are this Father Loretti, who is a priest, and someone named Rostami, an occult expert. Their plan was to extract you from Budapest before Jovitzo's minions could recapture you. Julier has friends who are coming soon to bring you to the airport once they are sure that you are clear of any pursuers. They have a way to protect you, potentially, from the vampires. If you are separated, though, he says you have to go to a private airfield at Tokol. And I will give you that problem here, which is problem 18. So...
Okay. Private airfield in Tokol. Does this group go by a name? Do you guys have a code name or something?
No, we're just a loose confederation.
And let me ask you, if I was under the control of this thing, how were you able to convince me? Wouldn't I have gone straight to my leader, or did I have some semblance of control?
We can't discuss this now. Please come with me. We have to keep moving.
Move where? Were you going to the hospital or going to the airfield?
The people that are with me too. We will take care of everything. Please.
Look, enough of these games. You mean the people that are listening right now?
Yes. As soon as you say that, he pales, and he doesn't confirm one way or another. But immediately you become aware that there are people now coming through the caves. I can hear something. Pounding footsteps as multiple people are making their way through the tunnels.
I'm gonna draw a gun on Julier and say, I don't intend to use this, but if they have ill intention towards me, you're gonna be the first to die.
He raises his hands and he insists.
Get in front of me, and I'll kind of like put him in front of me as he's talking.
He does. Yep. He complies. He doesn't want to get shot. You see now that there are about maybe 6 or 7, maybe even 8 people coming down the tunnels. And I think that is actually a good place to stop for the day.
Yeah, that's spicy.
Yeah, what'd you think, man?
Oh man, this was thrilling. This was really exciting.
Awesome. All right.
I can't wait to see what the other Mayday members do with this.
You know what?
Really cool.
Yeah, let's roll a dice. Let's roll a die here. Let's see who's gonna take it up next time. All
right.
So let me
roll.
Yeah, roll a d6.
Roll a d6. A 4. I don't know if you've decided who's who.
I have. That will be Mr. Caleb Miller.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so we'll get with Caleb. We'll get him on board, and we'll see what happens next time as he continues this extraction, this crazy situation.
This is going to be great. That's awesome.
Yeah, glad you had fun, man. I had a blast. This is good stuff.
For sure.
Still
this is an interesting story. I hopefully my notes make sense to the other folks. But
there's a lot coming at you. There's a lot coming at you. So my whole Roll20 page is full of problems and edges and contacts, and
So.
Yep, so it'll be good. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Hope you enjoyed that. We're still getting the hang of the rules, but the rules are pretty simple. I think we've got a good handle on them.
Absolutely.
So yeah, this was great. Hope you'll join us again next time. I will be back Tuesday after next to keep this story going, and I believe you'll be doing another painting session potentially in between for our patrons.
I think we'll be alternating between the two of us.
Love
on
that.
Tuesdays.
That'd be great. But in the meantime, thank you all so much for joining us. Sergio, thank you, man. This was a lot of fun. I had a blast.
Thank you. I had a blast. I'm so happy I was the first one to
Yes.
set the tone. Hopefully everybody else comes in strong. So I'm excited.
This will be good. But until next time, take care, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.
See ya.